Black people have known the danger of WGIs for centuries. I do know that older generations of Asian people know the danger of WGIs, and certainly other races. Um, but there is a danger side to WGIs. It's one of the big reasons I got the fuck out of these communities who are dominated by whites. And again, I was, as I said, having a story is very powerful. Sometimes there'll be a story, sort of um, a compound story. It'll be a story that is made up of other stories. Yeah, so I beat the shit out of a woman, a toxic woman, once in my life. I not prone to fighting. Um, I do not think that you should use violence to try and solve your problems. But, but, uh, I'm from a tougher background. So let's just say we know the value of whoop ass. We do. And when a community when it's dominated by white people, there are these communities where like you can't you can't discipline your children. And then okay, then WGIs just run wild, and you end up with, well, poisoned people. Um. So anyway, I got reflexes like a cat. I knew this woman, and she wasn't all white, but she was whitewashed. It was bad. It was a bad situation. Anyway, uh, and and I knew this woman was also strong, and she could throw a punch. She could beat the shit out of me if she wanted to. So I needed to, I needed to catch her off guard, and so I leapt on her. I took advantage of the fact that I was at a higher level, a little higher level, and I leapt from where I was standing onto her. And then I just took my ass and and I just like, and this is before I got my hips, as a woman. I think we were young, and um, I like pounded my butt down onto her, and I just pinned her down. And then I grabbed her hair with my left hand, and I just started beating the shit out of this bitch. I just took my right hand, I took my left hand, grabbed her fucking hair, and I was like, I had to make sure that she was like she was underneath, because she could, if she got up, she would just punch my face. So I just kept her pinned down, and I just started taking the other thing is, I'm a girl, like I'm not throwing a punch. I'm not gonna fight. I'm not gonna fight like a dude. Like I'm just gonna do what I gotta do. And so I grabbed her hair and I just slapped the shit out of her. I'm off the floorboards with that bitch. Anyway, the reason why I tell the story is because later on in life, yeah, like it was a close community, so it was like years later, like maybe almost a decade later, and I realized like she come back home and she's more toxic than ever. Like these things from her childhood and our childhood didn't go away, And I was like, something's wrong. Like she's not growing up. And she would spend most of her time in white dominated communities, where they would have like a college course on white privilege. Oh yes, yes, writing things down, and then they'd have Hispanic people come and pick up their fucking mess in their classrooms when they purposely threw shit on the floor, like that kind of bullshit, that kind of WGI, WPI, white people issues. Anyway, so um, And so I was like, I want to beat the shit out of I beat the shit out of you once. You want me to do it again? So I started to, but then I realized, oh, like these WGIs in her, like she didn't get checked, and so well, I tried to check her, but she didn't check herself. Like she continued to be in these white communities, and she had got to the next level. And let me tell you where WGIs have led. Like for black people, they know. Just a handful of decades ago, WGIs could lead to their husband getting lynched. They're like the woman not being able to work anywhere because the white woman who had some vendetta wanted revenge, and so she just made sure that no one would hire this particular black woman. Like she would be, and then they'd find out like, oh, I can't. They try to move to another state, but they find out they can't work in that state either. Like this is when WGI gets dangerous. And I realized with this woman, oh, like she was trying to get my husband in jail. I'm serious. Like the shit that she was saying. Turned out later on like she had poisoned like all my friends. Um I don't know necessarily against me, but they wouldn't talk to me anymore. I was busy with the kids, but I began to notice this, and I just got the fuck out of these communities, away from these white people, when I realized that this woman was trying to poison, and they were trying to poison my children's minds against me. And I was like, fuck this motherfucking shit. I don't care if I never talk to, and the only white person I ever talk to is my husband. These WGIs and WPIs are blooming, like they're coming into bloom. The danger of when WGI gets like escalates. So another example is, remember in my last video I talked about how this black girl wanted to fight this white girl, and I was like, they were children and they couldn't, like, you can't do that. So um if the black girl had come at, like, thrown a punch at the white girl, I would have just scooped her up and thrown her on the ground. She was little. I wouldn't have hurt her, but that's what I would have done, Whereas a white woman probably would have just called the director. But I'm like, the time it takes for the director to come down here, the black girl's already beat the shit out of the white girl. Anyway, so if I hadn't gotten the hell out of that community, like I saw also this WGI starting to bloom, and even if these white women were like toxically racist towards that black girl, they would have just used that to their advantage. And if they didn't get rid of me the way they wanted, they would say something like, remember, I understand the pattern of WGI. I had to learn it the hard way sometimes, and it was torture. And but they would say something like, "Oh, I'm afraid for the kids. Anshin has anger issues. I'm afraid." And they would pass this to the director. Like, yeah, that's WGI. That's WGI in its full form.